Last Thursday, you probably tapped a small piece of plastic against a glass screen to pay for a coffee, and in that precise fraction of a second, a billion-dollar psychological system successfully bypassed the pain center of your brain. 20 years ago, handing over physical cash actually hurt. Today, millions of people are earning significantly more money than they ever thought possible. Yet they look at their bank accounts at the end of the month, feeling a heavy knot in their stomach, and wonder where all of their hard-earned money actually went. The reason is not just inflation. It is a psychological trap that fundamentally changed the way the human brain measures loss and experiences the act of buying. Let us look at Alex, a 27-year-old professional who is finally making a comfortable salary. For the first few years of his career, Alex used a simple debit card. He only spent what he had in his checking account. But last year, Alex got his very first premium rewards credit card. It felt like a massive milestone of adulthood. He received a heavy, sleek metal card in the mail that promised cash back, exclusive airport lounge access, and double points for every single purchase. Alex is a smart person. He told himself he would pay the balance in full every single month without fail. He told himself he was simply gaming the system to get free flights and luxury hotel stays. But 6 months later, Alex is carrying a balance for the first time in his entire life. He did not make one massive, irresponsible luxury purchase. He did not buy a boat or finance a sports car. He simply started saying yes to slightly more expensive dinners with his friends. He added a few extra items to his online shopping cart because it meant hitting the next major reward tier. Every time Alex swiped that metal card, he felt like he was earning something rather than losing something. That subtle shift in feeling is not a coincidence. It is the exact design of the trap. You think you are entirely in control of your daily spending decisions. But your brain processes physical money very differently than it processes abstract credit. In 2001, behavioral economists Droshan Prelek and Duncan Simister at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology ran a fascinating experiment. They held a silent auction for highly desirable tickets to a sold-out sporting event. Half the people in the room were told they had to pay for the tickets using physical cash. The other half were told they had to pay using a credit card. The researchers found something completely alarming. The people paying with credit cards bid up to 100% more for the exact same tickets. They were willing to spend twice as much of their own money simply because of the payment method they were forced to use. The credit card completely severed the emotional pain of spending. When you hand over a crisp $50 bill, your brain registers a tangible loss. You literally watch your physical resources leave your hand. When you tap a piece of plastic, your brain registers absolutely nothing. The transaction is completely invisible. And when the transaction is invisible, the mental budget in your head stops acting as a reliable boundary. For Alex, this meant that his daily morning coffee upgraded to a coffee and a fresh pastry. His weekend drinks turned into casually paying the tab for the whole table, because he wanted to rack up the reward points. The natural friction of spending was completely erased from his daily routine. But the loss of pain is just the first step in this powerful psychological mechanism. There is a second layer to this trap, and it is the exact reason Alex's balance keeps growing even though his monthly salary went up. It is a cognitive blind spot that credit card companies spend billions of dollars researching and exploiting every single year. And it is happening to you every time you open a shopping app or walk into a retail store. You started watching this because you wanted to know why that small plastic card feels like an inescapable trap. We have seen how it numbs the pain of spending. But here is the part that changes everything. It is the exact mechanism that turns exceptionally smart people into permanent debtors. It happens when the card stops being a boring payment method and morphs into an engaging game. Think about playing a video game where you run around collecting shiny gold coins. You grab them because the game tells you they are valuable, even though they do not actually exist in the real world. Credit card reward points work on the exact same psychological loop. In 1999, behavioral economist Richard Thaler at the University of Chicago formalized a powerful concept called mental accounting. Mental accounting is the irrational way our brains categorize money depending on where it comes from or what it is meant for. Because of mental accounting, Alex views his credit card reward points as free money, entirely separate from his actual wealth. When he buys an $8 coffee to get closer to his next reward tier, he is not thinking about the $8 he just permanently lost. He is thinking about the imaginary points he just gained. He is literally spending his real wealth to buy a fake corporate currency. And the financial institutions know exactly how to manipulate this fundamental human flaw. In 2007, neuroscientist Brian Knutson at Stanford University put consumers inside functional magnetic resonance imaging scanners while they shopped for everyday items. He found that seeing a price activates the exact same region of the brain associated with physical pain. If the neurological pain of the price is higher than the anticipated pleasure of the item, your brain hits the brakes and you do not buy it. But credit cards introduce a dangerous temporal delay. You get the shiny new item today, but you do not actually pay for it until your statement arrives next month. That delay completely neutralizes the neurological pain response. The dopamine hit of the purchase happens right now. The pain of the payment is pushed deep into the future. And human psychology dictates that your brain is terrible at caring about your future self. Your brain literally treats your future self like a complete stranger who can deal with the harsh consequences later. When Alex looks at his statement at the end of the month, the pain finally hits him all at once. But the credit card company graciously offers an incredibly easy way out. The minimum payment. Behavioral economists call this dangerous phenomenon the anchoring effect. When you see a low minimum payment on your statement, your brain unconsciously anchors to that incredibly small number. Even if Alex fully intended to pay the entire $2,000 balance, seeing a minimum payment of just $40 makes a payment of $200 feel like a highly responsible decision. He pays $200, feels fantastic about himself, and rolls the rest over to the next month. But paying the minimum is mathematically designed to keep you trapped in a cycle of compound interest for years, or even decades. Keep that thought, because what happens next makes this entire system even stranger. You have been thinking this is a spending problem. You look at your consistently growing balance and assume you just lack basic financial discipline. You think you are simply bad at managing your own money and need to try harder. It is not a discipline problem. It is an environment problem. The entire modern credit system is perfectly engineered to maximize your spending while actively minimizing your feeling of loss. The ultimate goal of the credit card company is not to make you bankrupt. Bankrupt people do not pay monthly interest. The ultimate goal is to keep you perpetually almost broke. They want you forever making high-interest payments on minor lifestyle upgrades you bought months ago and have already completely forgotten about. When Alex finally understood this invisible system, everything in his financial life changed forever. He looked at his sleek, heavy metal card and realized the prestigious reward points were just his own money being sold back to him at a genuinely terrible exchange rate. He realized that the system was never designed to be outsmarted or gained by the consumer. The game was entirely rigged against him from the very first moment he proudly tapped the card at the coffee shop. He was not outsmarting the giant banks. The banks were quietly extracting his future wealth while successfully making him feel like a winner today. To escape this beautifully designed trap, you need one specific mental model shift. Call it the friction reframe. The friction reframe means deliberately putting the pain back into your daily financial purchases. You actually want it to hurt when you spend your money, because that psychological pain is the only natural defense mechanism protecting your long-term future wealth. Here is one concrete behavioral test you can apply this exact week. For your next 3 discretionary purchases, whether it is dinner out with friends or buying new clothes online, leave your cards at home and force yourself to use physical cash. Feel the actual physical hesitation when you count out the paper bills and hand them over to the cashier. Notice how suddenly, that random impulse purchase does not seem quite as necessary or exciting as it did 5 minutes ago. Mastering this deliberate friction is exactly how you stop trading your actual, hard-earned wealth for the modern illusion of frictionless convenience. Last Thursday, you probably tapped a small piece of plastic against a payment terminal and felt absolutely nothing. You walked away with your coffee, completely unaware of the massive psychological machinery operating quietly in the background. But tomorrow, when you reach into your pocket for your wallet, you will feel the invisible pull. You will see the shiny trap for exactly what it really is. You will understand that every frictionless swipe is a tiny loan taken directly against your own future freedom. The entire financial system is perfectly designed to make you easily forget the true value of your money. But what would happen to your life and your growing wealth if you finally decided to remember?